Hey guys, I'm back, and I have 3 disclaimers real quick for you guys. 1, I'm still not 100% recovered from being sick for a week, so my voice is a little off and maybe I'm going to be a little bit sniffly. I'm going to try not to, but I apologize. But I'm back in business. I'm back at my desk for a couple of days now. However, I sound a little off, so bear with me. 2, I'm going to show you guys again today about Boris Effects Optics, which is a great plugin suite, which is phenomenal. One of the reasons I want to show you today is that I finally opted to upgrade to the 2025 version. I've been using Optics with some regularity, as you probably know if you watch the channel. But I never said, yeah, update it, because I'd always run it and it said, hey, there's an update. And I would just keep rolling with 2024 because I just wanted to get done whatever I needed to get done. Right. And the 3rd disclaimer, I love showing any tool, any product that's going to be potentially useful and that I personally love. We don't do paid sponsorships. We don't do any type of sponsorships. We don't even run ads on our YouTube channel, as you know. I'm showing you guys Boris Optics because I think it's really rad, and I think I want to show you guys what I do with it anyway, right? So let's talk about some color today. For example, this is a set that I did about a month ago, I guess, and it's very, quote, monochromatic in that red, warm tones is the dominant color. And so color grading, when I have something very monochromatic, it tends to frustrate me at times. And when I get frustrated, I need to explore. Yeah. Here at MVP, we have our own tools. We have CGX for color exploring, and that's awesome. I can dial in something directly with CGP. These are great tools. But sometimes I want to just shake things up and throw something at myself and see if I envision something maybe that I hadn't thought about before, right? And I still like flexibility. So here's my final edit. I kind of flattened it all into a layer. All the different layers that I had, I put them together and merged them to one. I'm going to right click that layer and I'm going to say convert to smart object. This is great when you have a external processor plugin like Boris Effects Optics, like many of them are. So you can always go back in and change, because if not, it's going to be, those changes are going to be permanent. Yeah, you can save a setup or what amounts to a preset in Optics, but no matter. Smart object, here we go. Filter, Boris Effects Optics. And like I said, I finally decided to get the 2025 version. So let's let that load. No, we're not going to apply previous filters and mask. Now there's some cool changes. One of the most exciting ones for me is that on the, let's choose a look here. I'm going to go to film stocks immediately. There's a look, right? On the left side here, you can see the layers, and the film stocks layer has a little eyeball now. You can turn it on and off. There's also a key command for it, of course. And the eyeball makes much more sense than the lightning bolt from previous versions. So I would call that an upgrade alone. Now, let's say, for example, that I'm digging through all these film stocks and I'm looking for different ideas and who knows, et cetera, et cetera. There's a couple of things that I do. I'm going to go to that default one, or at least one of these anyway, really strong one, right? When I first look at this look, I think it's kind of cool, right? Now, the second thing I might do is come to the opacity of that layer and make it like 50%. What does it look like? Slightly less, right? And I'll play around with that until I dial something in that maybe works. And I think, you know what? That could be good. But see, this is where I come in now. It's not just using the function. I will go back then to 100% and I'll hit apply. Because I liked what was potentially happening at a lower opacity, but I'm going to put it at maximum. You probably can guess why. Because now I can do that here. I can do 25% opacity right here as I'm working, right? I don't want to dial in 25% opacity in Optics. At least I don't, because then I only get 25%. I can't go more. So I think to myself, it looks pretty good at a lower opacity. Excellent. That's all I needed. Let's go ahead and run it at full. And then now I can play with the opacity as I move forward in my edit. Does that make sense? Again, this is just a suggestion. This is how I like to work, because I might continue here with like a levels to do some mastering. Maybe I'll kind of like flatten up the shadows, protect the highlights a little bit. And who knows what I'll do. Maybe I'll add a brightness and contrast, also luminosity. Now increase the contrast. And as I'm playing with all of this, that opacity of the look that I decided looked cool might need to change 20%, 50%, 35%, right? So that's just one of the things that I do. Now, of course, I can always go back in to Optics itself because it's on a smart object, smart filter, I should say. And then I can make radical changes there. So I'll just duplicate it real quick. Let me just get this a little more functional. We're going to say clear smart filters. We won't have any on there. We'll put that on the bottom. So that's the original. And then now I can play with like 50%, 40%, 45%, and just kind of dial in a look, maybe even 35%, something like that. And who knows what'll happen as I work above it, like I said, as I continue on. So it's just a way of making these external processing plugins remain completely flexible. You get what I'm saying? So choose a look, choose it at maximum. If I think it's working, I'll test it inside optics. I'll test it to make sure the opacities might work for me. And if I'm convinced that it's worth trying, I'll hit OK, and then, exporting it or processing it at full, and then I'll scale back. I do this with all kinds of different effects in optics. So it's just a cool little quick thought there. And I will continue playing more and more with Optics 2025 and see what happens. I've done quite a bit with it actually in the last couple of days as the first video I decided to record. I've done quite a bit with it. And there's all kinds of functions in here that are game changers for me. Look at that. This is a little bit too strong there, but you get the idea. Anyway, if you have any questions or if you want to check out Optics, I'll leave a link in the description. And just to say one more time, we don't do paid promotions or sponsorships or anything like that. I just think some shit is cool and I want to show it to you. I hope you enjoy.